Welcome everyone, I'm Brandon.
I'm Steven.
And you're watching Optimal Play, where we are about to give our first impressions of the player cards in the Dark Side of the Moon Mythos pack for Arkham Horror the card game. I did want to give a quick little update, kind of a personal and channel update up front. I recorded a little video about this that you may or may not have seen, but I did experience a home burglary a couple weeks ago. A bunch of the equipment, computers, including files on them that we use to make the videos on this channel, poof, we're gone. We're fine. Everyone's fine. We are replacing them or finding other ways to produce things, but it's taken a little time. So sitting here right now, we're recording this obviously, but I'm not sure what the production value on this video is going to look like, how much we'll get the cards on the screen, which we like to do, that kind of thing. It might depend on how much sleep I feel like losing this weekend, as I do a lot of that from scratch. So it's going to affect some other videos on the channel too. I know our Dunwich Legacy campaign, which has more videos forthcoming. We lost some of the camera angles of footage, so they're going to be a little wonky and not where we like them, but we're still going to get them out there and we're going to get back on the wagon and keep having fun this year. So that said, one order of business that I wanted to make sure to start with is Otherworld Codex from last pack. As some of you helpfully pointed out on Discord or in the YouTube comments, we completely misread it. Do you even remember what we thought it did?
So we thought that it like searched through the 9 cards of the encounter deck and then discarded it from the deck, which is like kind of just like a weird filter effect that didn't seem worth like
any investment.
Yeah. But no, it actually discards a different copy of that from play. I think maybe, I don't know if it had the word like different or another, but like if they had maybe said another copy, it would have been more obvious.
Yeah, it's definitely something that once it was pointed out to me that we read it wrong, I was like, oh. I don't think it's necessarily worded all that confusingly. I just think that it is such an unusual effect and such a long text that we just completely, it's good evidence that we really are looking at these cards live for the first time and doing these videos in one take.
Yeah.
Sometimes big mistakes might happen, but I did get a chance to play with it and I actually loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I played a couple games with Otherworld Codex in my Mandy deck. So first of all, I could use her power to either search 12 cards or choose 2. If there were a lot of things that I might want to remove, could choose 2
Mandy
targets.
doesn't have to be your own deck. It can be any deck.
Her ability specifies a player's deck or the encounter deck.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was great. I did play, what did I play? Echoes of the Past. Sorry, not Echoes of the Past. The Asylum one, the Unspeakable Oath. And also, as a little side story, Carnivale of Horror. So both of those encounter decks have several enemies that they have like 3 of. So I did a lot of just remotely, just poof, enemies are gone. Just found another one in the deck, which was really good. I acknowledge that it might be a little, those might have been 2 particularly good scenarios for it, because not every scenario has so many copies of its enemies. But yeah, did you have a similar take?
Yeah, sort of. So I added it to a Luke deck, just kind of figuring I'll try it out. And I was playing through Circle Undone, and he had Fate of All Fools on him, and he kept on having to add Doom to it because Luke only has 5 hit points, so you can't really take a lot of direct damage. So at one point I was like, I've got 2 Doom on Fate of All Fools, like my only hope is to install Otherworld Codex, and then hope to hit another Fate of All Fools. And I did. I was like, man, this is awesome. So it effectively got rid of 3 treacheries because it gets rid of the Fate of All Fools card and it cancels the next 2 copies as well.
The next 2?
Yes, because that a Fate of All Fools with 2 Doom on it is the equivalent of having drawn Fate of All Fools 3 times. Like,
I see.
Because and 2 to add Doom to it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Gotcha.
So that was great. It was basically like a cancel 3. But then the next 2 turns, there were a couple of treacheries on the board that I wanted to get rid of. There was one of those witch treacheries, and there was also a monster. And both of those, there was 1 more copy in the deck, but I whiffed on finding him. So, I mean, still decent, but like not... Alter Fate would have been much better, because that would just... It hits, and then it's out, and you're done. So, I guess my experience is like, this is good in like Circle Undone or things with like really powerful cards that stay there. For characters that can't take Alter Fate, or for Daisy. I didn't think of Mandy. That's another interesting one.
Right.
I don't know that there are really any characters that can take Alter Fate and this, but I feel like most characters that could take both, I would take Alter Fate.
Yeah, is Alter Fate level 3?
I think it's level 3.
That's
so
tough then. Yeah.
So I don't think anyone besides like Lola maybe can
Right.
play both.
Do you remember what knowledge is power does?
Yes, I love knowledge is power.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because with Otherworld Codex was the first time I'd ever tried it. Because I was like, you know what? I want to try out Otherworld Codex. I'm going all in on this tome stuff. That card was great with Otherworld Codex.
Well, I mean, knowledge is power is just, I think, a really good card in general.
I think maybe we kind of disagreed on that in our video, and then I just never tried it.
No, it's anytime you have like a fast action, like shortcut, it's generally like surprisingly good. And then it also like doesn't have cost, so you can use it on things that add doom, or you can use it on shriveling charges and not have to worry about losing a shriveling charge. So I don't know, I really like it.
Yeah, and just being able to use Otherworld Codex twice in one turn because it ignores the exhaust.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't exhaust.
Or in the late game to not have to play it at all, just trigger it from your hand.
Yeah.
Or use it when it was out of secrets.
Yeah.
Like, surprisingly versatile, and I was always really happy to have it.
Yep.
So yeah, especially it sounds like maybe always if you have valid cards to use with it.
Yeah.
But Knowledge is Power is great with Otherworld Codex too.
And actually in Mandy, you could just keep using Astonishing Revelation to repower your Otherworld Codex. So you could play a Mandy that basically never deals with enemies any other way.
Yep, that was roughly how it played out for me. Yeah, it was real good.
Nice.
What else did you play with from the new pack? Sorry, I should say from the previous pack.
Yeah. So actually, the same deck that I use Knowledge and Power is a Daisy Verna deck that's based around like reusing spells and insights a lot. So I threw in Versatile to try adding in a Rogue Insight. I think it was Interrogate. It's like an intellect check against an enemy, and then you get extra clues. So I thought that would be cool. There was also like some level 1 cards that I was thinking, or level 0 cards. I was thinking, it wouldn't be bad to have these in the deck. And Seekers have so much draw and tutoring that it just felt like, the downside's not really that big. So I tried it. I don't think I ever actually used the Interrogate. But it also, I didn't have any trouble finding my cards or anything. So, it was fine. It wasn't game changing or anything, but it was fine.
Okay, yeah, I haven't given it a shot yet, but I think my stance is still Versatile is bad and you shouldn't take it, but I like that it's an option.
I think like there are some decks that like there might be level 0 cards that you don't necessarily want at the start, but you kind of want later, and those are it helps in that kind of deck. So like, there were some insights that maybe level 0 when I didn't have Vermis, because it is an XP card, they weren't really worth the cut, but now they were.
That's true. If you were just going to pay for 2 level 0 swaps or considering it, like you could buy Versatile instead for the same price and just swell your deck a little bit, which is also part of the price.
Yeah. So less good in Rogue, I guess, because they have adaptable.
Sure. Oh yeah, good point. I played some Self-Sacrifice in Tommy. I kind of didn't get it. So that's the Guardian skill that has no icon on it, but you can commit it to any test. And if the test is you can commit it to another player's test. If that test is a failure, then you, the Guardian who played it, or the character who played it, suffers the effects of the failure. And then you or the player who is performing the test draws 2 cards. So I basically never in 2 full games of these sitting in my hand found a good opportunity to play it. It just was too niche. I was playing Tommy along with Daisy, so she needed a lot of protection, but still never really needed me to take any failures for her. As I've thought back on it, the fact that it is a free, it doesn't cost an action or any resources to play a card that draws 2 more cards, if you completely ignore the effect where you can take the failure, it is as action efficient as Emergency Cash, which is a good card.
True, but Tommy can take the better version, which is the Survivor version that draws 2 and gives you 2 resources. So
Stand Together.
Yeah. No, not Stand Together. It's
Take Heart. Sorry,
yeah,
you're talking that Survivor version. Yeah.
So I think Tommy probably is maybe not the right one for Self-Sacrifice.
Yeah.
But maybe Carolyn, with a really dumb fighter, could use it because she can't take the Survivor version, and it lets her take will checks from her dumb friends.
Yeah.
And take the horror.
The issue with Take Heart though is that you only get those benefits if you fail. Or if the test is a
does
failure.
self-sacrifice not do that?
I believe self-sacrifice draws the cards regardless of the outcome. I think it even says in the text regardless of the outcome.
Okay.
I could be wrong, and as usual, we don't have it in front of us to make informed statements. But I think that's how it works. So I look at it as like you draw one card that just for free becomes two cards. It is some just economic efficiency, if nothing else. So it might not be bad, but I found it too niche to really like enjoy see what seems to be its main purpose.
Okay.
All right, well, speaking of Guardian cards, should we get to the Guardian cards from the Dark Side of the Moon?
Sure.
Yeah, you want to start us off?
Sure. This is the 35 Winchester, 4-cost asset with a agility icon. It's a sweet rifle over a fireplace. Kind of reminds me of the old law. Is it Chekhov that said that like if there's a gun over the fireplace, like it'll be fired.
It'll be fired. Yep.
So yeah, it's got 5 ammo. You can fight, get +2 for the attack. If a +1/0 or Elder Sign Chaos token is revealed during this attack, it deals +2 damage. Oh, but otherwise it's only a 1 damage.
Otherwise it's not bonus damage. So, it's interesting. I don't think Guardians have, other than the multi-class one, do they have any level 0 two-handed weapons? It's always kind of been a characteristic of, of their higher level weapons.
Yeah, the Tommy guns, but yeah, those are multi-class.
Yeah. Rogues get the two-handed low-level ones. But that said, that's actually a problem because you can't, at a level 0 deck, get like the upgraded Bandolier or the cards that make two-handed weapons more appealing.
Well, I'm also thinking like what Chaos Spike manipulation is available to them. So there's Diana can take this and Chthonian Stone, and with some XP she can take Protective Incantation. And is there anyone else that has Guardian and Mystic?
Carolyn, but she can't take this.
Yeah. Or maybe she can. Could you take level 0 weapons? Maybe not.
I don't think she can.
Yeah. Anyway, she doesn't want it. Anyway.
Yeah, right.
So,
she does not want to spend both her hands.
Yeah. And I've never really seen a Diana that went heavy on the Chaos Bag manipulation. So like, you could of course play this as a Guardian with a Chaos Bag manipulating character.
Yeah.
That's
my one thought. So I think you've got to treat the bonus for drawing a good token as like icing on the cake, and it can't be. I don't think.
But we found that like the 1 damage weapons are like kind of useless. Like nobody plays.
So
them.
So what I was gonna say though is that this has a good amount of ammo. The price is not that bad, and +2 combat. It's a good one to start putting things like custom ammunition and like attachments to. I think it's custom ammunition that gives +1 damage against monster enemies. Guardian has a decent amount of attachments to weapons that can start to kind of power it up, and this could be a good like base for that.
Well, I think though that if you're gonna spend a 3 XP ammo card on a weapon, it should be an XP weapon.
Yeah, you're probably not buying those cards before you're getting a better weapon to put them on. Good points. Yeah, and I always like if I'm lost, I always think well, what's the new investigator in this cycle of that class? But nothing about this says Tommy to me. So.
Yeah, they did do the level 0 version of Eat Lead, so you could start with this and Eat Lead to fish for those good tokens.
Actually, good point. This does combo really well with Eat Lead. Okay, don't really get it. Moving on to Safeguard. It's a level 2 Guardian asset that costs 2 and is a talent, doesn't take up a slot. During another investigator's turn, exhaust Safeguard. For the remainder of that investigator's turn, as they move from your location to a connecting location, you may move to that location as well. Keep an eye out for any trouble, she told me. I rolled my eyes. There was always trouble. Looks like we got a nice shot from inside of probably Velma's Diner here. I don't think we've seen that represented too much in the game. It seems like It seems like a worse Pathfinder, right?
Yeah, but like Pathfinder probably should be at least 2 XP. So I think like, if Pathfinder goes on the taboo list and it adds an XP or 2, then this will seem more balanced.
Sure.
And of course, there's lots of characters that can't take Pathfinder. Or you could even do a Carolyn or a Joe that has both and is like super mobile.
Oh man, yeah. It is I think a resource cheaper than Pathfinder, so it does have that going for it.
Yeah.
And it's also, I guess this is not really about the quality of the card, but it's yet another card that is only multiplayer. right? There's
Yeah.
just this, they've really just let loose with that this cycle. I've noticed
Yeah.
not only the weaknesses literally say multiplayer only, but I think we're seeing more cards than ever before that explore multiplayer design space. I'm fine with it though.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a cool
yeah.
card. I think, it does kind of go with Tommy, tanking damage for people and stuff. So.
True. This one is a Tommy card, right? Because he wants to be near the other investigators as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably when I would try it. All right. Secret.
Ooh, all right. This is a 1-cost event with whale and book icons. Practice makes perfect. It's a gambit and a tactic. Have we had a gambit investigator yet? I don't think so.
No.
But we do mark as tactics. So.
Yeah. Right. Oh, right.
It's fast. Play during a skill test at your location. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for a practice skill and commit it to this test, if able. Shuffle the remaining cards back into your deck. After this test ends, if it was successful, add that skill to your hand instead of discarding it.
Huh. I would have a hard time sitting here right now and naming very many practiced skill cards.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if deduction or kind of some of those seeker staples happen to be practiced, then this is great. Like, but Eureka is probably not practiced.
Yeah, it's tough, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna guess that they made this a really good card for Mandy and Min. So because Mandy can find 2 skill cards.
Sure.
And then Min, obviously, you get the extra bonus for skills, and you get the draw from skills if you have your signature. So I'm just going to assume that, like, there's some decent practice skills, and this is a good Mandy Min card, and probably doesn't get much play out of it.
Yeah, that's probably a good summary. Like, the payoff for this is huge, assuming you hit one, is because it's going to boost your test, going to give you whatever benefits of on the text of the card, and then add it to your hand and give it to you over again.
Yep.
So I can see how this is really strong. I just don't know how it's really strong.
And then, of course, unless if Vicious Blow is practiced, which I have no idea if it is, then maybe Mark, Roland, and Joe take it. But
sure, yeah. All right, Extensive Research is a level 1 seeker event. It costs 10 resources. I think that this is the largest number I've seen printed on an Arkham card. In any, like, let alone resource cost, I think in any circumstance.
Doesn't Hot Streak say gain 10?
Oh, that's true. Okay. Well, maybe this is just as good. It's an insight event that says reduce the cost to play Extensive Research by 1 for each other card in your hand. Okay. So it has a cost reduction mechanic. Discover 2 clues at your location. Nothing in here either. How many do we have left? See the wall behind you? We've got, hey, speaking of Mandy and Min, right?
Yeah.
And this art. Discover 2 clues. It's going to be, unless you are expanding your hand size, which has been a little bit of a thing, and this is maybe the first reason we've ever seen to do that. It's most of the time going to cost you like at least 3, right?
Yeah. I'm actually thinking now that my gears are whirling. So they eroded all the hand size things, I believe, to increase your hand size at all times.
Oh, yes.
And they have that other card that's like draw a new hand up to your hand size. So I'm thinking you play a Divermus Daisy deck. You put this in, you put that in. They're both insights. And you're reusing those cards. So you draw a full hand up to 10. Then you play this for free. Then you play
for
it again.
If you have a hand of 10, it costs 1.
Okay,
Yeah.
but then with the Vermis, it's -1. So then you play
There
it again
you
for
go.
free. You get 4 clues. So you can play Knowledge is Power so that it's not an action, although that'll increase the cost by 1 because it's 1 less card in your hand. So I think it could be a cool deck.
Yeah, man, it is a common trap though to evaluate cards based on the absolute best case scenario you can think of,
Like,
and that's what you just
What is
did
the point of cards
to
if
a
not
T.
for sweet combos?
I mean, I can't argue with you there. It is an insight, but it doesn't seem. It seems a little too niche for Joe to really enjoy.
Hey, you
So-
can play it for 8.
Actually, between the fact that you're right, he gets the 2 discount, and then depending on how you're building and playing him, he probably has a hand.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's actually a reasonable price to discover 2 free clues. Actually,
I think actually Joe generally has a pretty good hand size because he gets the free preposterous sketches, and I often play him with grotesque statue for more draw too. So,
and I like to play Joe. I know Matt Newman in like interviews has talked about how he liked the idea that Joe kind of had like a little mini like quest, like objective, like, oh, how can I use this card in the best possible way?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like, it's kind of seemingly objectively best to just build Joe with really no-brainer, like, cards, like, events that draw cards or discover a clue, and are just always beneficial. But I always like to throw a couple into my insight deck that really, when they come up, will be, like, a high-risk, high-reward kind of thing. And for that reason, I could see I could see playing some extensive research in Joe.
Yep.
Although I don't really see him as being much of a library guy. All right, we're flying through. We're up to Rogue.
All right, 3 aces. It's a 1 XP skill with a wild icon. It's fortune and practice. Don't think that matters. It's myriad. If you commit 3 copies of 3 aces to a skill test, the test automatically succeeds. Do not reveal chaos tokens. I think they added that as an errata or like they maybe started clarifying that because there was always questions about automatic tests, like do you still pull a thing or not?
Right. Yeah.
Then draw 3 cards and gain 3 resources. So 3 of everything. That's really cool. My only question is, like, since when have rogues been really good at draw or tutoring?
They're not, but I've been playing a lot of Mandy lately, and I've been playing her with Rogue as her off class.
Okay.
And this is a level 1 Rogue skill. She can take this.
Okay.
She can play Practice Makes Perfect to find 2 copies of it in a clutch because this is practiced.
Oh, yeah.
And then combined with the one which was obviously already in her hand, just waiting. You slam these down and automatically succeed and get them all back again.
Wow.
And see, I think I just went up to you on talking about best case scenario for evaluating a card, but there you have it.
You can only at most get 2 back with Practice Makes Perfect, right? So you would still have to find some other way to recur the 3rd one from your discard?
Yes, all 3 would not go back to your hand. That's true. Getting 2 of them back is still nice because they have wild icons on them.
That's true.
So it's not useless.
Yep.
But okay. I have had fun with Easy Mark, the other Myriad Rogue card in Mandy, and so for that reason I'm kind of tempted to just try this, but I think fittingly for the theme of this card, it would be a major gamble that would probably rarely pay off.
I can see though. If Mandy can take it, that makes sense.
I can't think of any other purpose for this, really. But okay. Hello. The next card is Burglary.
Whoa.
Level 2, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Burglary is a card in the core set, right?
I think so, yeah.
Gotta love when in the middle of the 5th cycle of Arkham you find a random core set upgrade.
Yep.
Well, this one is going to test our memory of what the old one did, but it is a 1-cost level 2 asset that is a talent and is illicit. As an action, exhaust Burglary to investigate. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, gain 2 resources, plus 1 additional resource for each point you succeed by, up to a maximum of plus 3. This gives you as much as 5 resources per use.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
This is crazy. Huh. So I think the old Burglary, I could not tell you its resource cost, but I think it exhausted and it was just, instead of discovering clues, gain 2 resources, right? Or was it... I almost wanted to say it was 3. It was 2?
It was 3 because everyone played it with Mulan.
Right.
Which used to be unlimited.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So it makes it, instead of 2, it's a range of 2 to 5. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. Now, how many Seekers are there that can take level 2 Rogue? Because part of what was good about the original Burglary is that you would play it in, like, Rex, who could take level 0 Rogue. And then he would still get a clue anyway, because his effect was additional. I'm trying to think of like Seekers that can take Rogue. I don't think there is an obvious one. Yeah,
I don't think so either. What jumps out as me, who jumps out at me here is Finn.
Oh yeah,
because when you run Finn,
like
he has 4 intellect. He's usually doing a lot of investigating. I think he would find real good use in this card, and actually. the event-focused Crystallizer of Dreams, I think was the name of the card,
Yeah.
deck that I played at Arkham Knights. It might have been a lot better if I could get all this money.
Yeah.
Because the problem that I had was paying for all the service events, service events, I think, that my deck was built around. It would have been a lot easier if I was generating 3, 4, 5 resources per action. So,
but you can't. I don't think there's anyone that can take this along with the like stone, or is it the guiding stones or whatever? That's like for every 2 that you succeed by, get an extra clue. I guess those are both actions anyway, so you couldn't do them both. At the
True.
same time.
Yeah.
I was thinking there would be like crazy combo where you like discover a bunch of clues and get a bunch of money, but not a combo.
And notably, you also can't combine this with flashlight or fingerprint kit or any of these other things that reduce shroud, and you might just take the shroud to 0 and make this all upside or something. No, it won't work with those, but it'll go great with skill cards. Again, with the Crystallizer of Dreams, you've got a lot of skill cards, so. I'm actually pretty excited to try this one, and I haven't played burglary in years, so it's nice. It's fun to have old cards rejuvenated a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, give us this looks sharp.
Super cool art. Spectral Razor, 2-cost event with Will and Fist. It's a spell. It's got a Kachi with like a claw arm, and it's fight. Add your will value to your skill value for this attack. Immediately before this attack, you may engage the attack enemy. This attack deals +1 damage, +2 damage instead if the enemy is non-elite. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. One is it adds your will. So for Kachi, that increases her from like 3 to like an 8.
Something crazy, yeah.
Then you engage, so there's no danger of hitting your buddy.
Right.
Then it does 1 or 2 extra damage. I'm guessing you'll primarily use this when it's doing 2 extra damage. So for like 3 damage, almost guaranteed to 1 enemy, seems decent.
Yeah, I think I like it. You're most likely going to be testing at a really high value and getting at least +1 damage and +2 if you're taking out things that aren't bosses. I almost feel like this is a little backwards. You would want the more damage if it was elite, but I compare this to, it's a seeker card, but I've Got a Plan, which lets you add to your, lets you fight with your intellect and deal extra damage, up to 3 extra damage if you have those clues. This seems a little like less situational because you don't have to have clues. It can't get to as high an amount of damage, but it gets close, and I think gives you probably a better value that you attack with. And if I'm remembering that card right, also is 1 cheaper. So I don't know whether like the community considers I've Got a Plan all that good, but I've always kind of been a fan of throwing that in Seekers just as kind of a for those situations where the Guardian can't get there and help you, you've got your plan. I think I really like this.
The upside is not nearly as good as I've Got a Plan, but it's true that a lot of times you don't get the full upside of I've Got a Plan, either because the enemy doesn't have like 4 HP, which I think is what it maxes out at, or because you don't have the clues.
And I mean, this gets up to +2 versus I've Got a Plan is +3. Like, it's not that much less. And 3 is plenty to kill a lot of non-elite enemies. I could even play this in Carolyn. Like, she's not going to be testing at 8, but I think it'd be all
Carolyn,
right.
Daisy, Safina. Safina can't play I've Got a Plan, so she probably really likes this.
Cool. I like it. I think this will find a home in a lot of decks. And then we move on to Word of Command. Also pretty awesome art. I'm not sure what's going on here, but she is commanding something. Anyway, it's a level 2-cost mystic event that's also a spell. It says, name a spell card. Search your deck for 1 copy of the name card and draw it. Shuffle your deck. Light for the saving of our eyes, heat for the saving of our skin, a spark for the saving of our souls. This seems awesome. Oh no.
It's pretty expensive, and it's not fast, and it's just kind of card replacement.
You don't want to be able to just like essentially have 4 copies of Shriveling in your deck because you just draw this and find your Shriveling.
I think this is a card I feel like I would have to build around. Like I would have to like almost immediately take like Shriveling 5 and then take this and be like, oh man, this is like kind of a cheat to get an extra copy of Shriveling 5. But like I would sort of have to build my whole deck around it, and I'm not sure it's worth it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
I think, man,
because spending 2 resources and an action to just get like a different card when you could have just like drawn that card instead of this, like that's a pretty high cost.
it is, but just the consistency that it adds to your deck. Like Mystics, because there's not a whole lot of like redundant spells. Like a Guardian, if you want to have a consistent deck, you can put 8 weapons in your Guardian, but you can't put 8 attacks. Well, I guess we're getting close to where you can put 8 attack spells in your deck, but they're not very good, most of them. This lets you just find your good ones, or find your Rite of Seekings, or whatever it is that you need to execute on your plan that game. It strikes me as pretty good, and Daisy would like it too. Can throw some astounding revelations in her deck. Find one every time with this, right? Get the 2 resources back.
Yeah. I don't know.
Huh. All right. Well, I haven't played much Mystic in a while, but now I'm going to just.
I
prove you
play a
wrong.
lot of Mystic, and I don't feel like they're dying for tutoring that much. I mean, it might make like solo Mystics a little more valuable, but like I don't know. I find like Mystics, they'll contribute somehow. Like it may take, they may not be able to contribute in every way immediately, but you know they contribute.
Huh. I'm surprised you're down on this. I'm gonna have to build something to prove you wrong. All right. We're to Survivor.
Yeah. Moonstone, a 3-cost asset, is item, relic, and Dreamlands. You get 1 will and 1 agility. Oh, that's Pete 2 levels.
Yeah.
You cannot play or commit Moonstone from your hand. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After you discard Moonstone from your hand, play it, paying its cost. So it's like a free action, I guess. You don't spend the action.
Yeah, so it's not an action, but it is still almost an extra cost, an extra hoop to jump through to get it into play.
Yeah.
Great with Patrice, right? She doesn't want to spend an action playing it anyway. She's going to discard it at the end of her turn.
Yeah.
She just pays for it then.
Yep.
On the flip side, like how much Patrice cares about +1 agility, I don't know.
Yeah, but it only cost like. I guess the only benefit of the Mystic one is that it can soak some horror. What's it called?
Holy Rosary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you are losing that, but you're saving an action, but you're spending an extra resource.
Yeah, and I think Patrice has been playing Holy Rosary quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
Like I think you've played more Patrice than me, but I think you've been running Holy Rosary. I think this replaces it in her deck.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I think this is better. And it's like the challenge with with assets in Patrice is that you have to like have the resources and be in a situation where you can play them on the turn that you happen to draw them, or else poof, they're gone.
Yep.
I guess that's still true of this one, but at least it doesn't take the action to play, and you're going to get that opportunity to spend the resources and just get into play no matter what.
Yeah, and even though her base agility is only 2, with Cornered and Pete and stuff, your agility is probably going to be fine. So having the +1 could be relevant.
Yeah, true. I like it, and it's a no-brainer for her. Wendy is also good at discarding cards at will. She can get it into play easily.
Oh, that's really interesting. So, like, you could theoretically fail a test with Wendy, discard this, put it into play, redraw. Even if you redraw the same token, if you only fail by 1,
this might have made the difference, and you pass.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And Ashcan doesn't even redraw. So yeah, again, if he fails by 1, you could do it. Although, is there an action window after your reveal?
I think so. Isn't that when you play?
Oh yeah, that's when you would Wendy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I think a lot of survivors would like this quite a bit, and it looks great. I'll be running it.
Yep.
A new survivor skill, level 1 sharp vision. It's got just 1 intellect icon. It says max 1 committed per test. While Sharp Vision is committed during a basic investigate action, it gains +2 intellect icons and the text. If this test is successful by 2 or more, discover 1 additional clue at this location. What was the name of the one from last pack that did this for unarmed attacks?
I don't know.
It was brute force?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Something like that?
It was like a punching.
Yeah, it was a punch to the face. This one is just squinting a little bit. Sharp Vision, right? Okay, do we like this?
I think it's decent. I think generally, I think it's better than brute force. I feel like weapons, you kind of want to get them out in advance so that you're ready for when there's a monster. Whereas clue stuff have like one-shot events are like generally a little more useful, I feel like.
Yeah, and I guess honestly, this is better than deduction, right? At least deduction level 0. It has the same. Oh well, no wait. Deduction has a built-in clue. You don't have to succeed by 2 or more. I was kind of getting my 2 versions of deduction blurred together.
So, deduction 0 is similar in that they both give you a book.
Mm-hmm.
This one gives you 2. Oh, this one there's more chance of getting the original clue than deduction because you gain 2 book.
Yep. So 3 total.
Yeah. Whereas the other deduction does not give you the 2 book, but you don't have to succeed by 2. So it has the same odds of getting the additional clue. The advantage of deduction is that you can add it to a flashlight, whereas this you can't.
Oh, because it specifies during a basic investigate action, right? Similar to the unarmed attack.
Often Seekers don't even run flashlight anyway because they're running like magnifying glasses. So like, it seems pretty good. Yeah,
and again, if nothing else, this seems good for Patrice, right? Like she loves good skills, and this is one.
Yep.
And it's an innate skill. There's a survivor card that cares about innate skills, and I'm
true something.
Is it just true survivor?
It might be true.
I think it was true survivor. Oh man, we're getting even worse at recalling all these other cards. Every week or every month that we do this, there are more cards that we struggle to remember. Someday I'll just quit my job and study Arkham for a living. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so it's a well-rounded pack. There were 2, I think, of every class, and now 1 neutral card.
Yep.
What do we got?
Lucid Dreaming. This is a 1-cost 2 XP spell. Choose a card in your play area or reveal a card in your hand. Search your deck for another copy of that card and draw it. Shuffle your deck. So this is another one I don't really like that you'll probably like, just like the other Mystic card that we just read.
Yeah, I mean, it would go well with 3 aces, right? Or this feels like it's intentionally in the same cycle as all these myriad cards, that kind of encourage you to get them all in your hand together.
Yeah.
Whether, say I'm playing easy mark and would love to get off a 3 easy mark turn, am I going to spend an action and a resource and a card just to look for one? I don't know. I think the only time I would play this is in Mandy with Segment of Onyx.
Yeah.
Because it's a huge payoff for getting those, and if you trigger Mandy's ability here, you can just find 2 of them outright. Right? That seems great. That's about all I got to say about it.
Yep.
Okay, not the strongest note to end on, but it's good. I liked the pack.
Yeah, some fun cards in here.
I think pretty much every class had at least 1 card I was really excited about, and 1 card that I kind of didn't get, but would maybe play. Right?
Yeah, I think Seekers, maybe I'm the most excited about both of them.
Okay.
I'm definitely very excited for extensive research, but practice makes perfect, especially when I actually remember what all the practice skills cards are.
Yeah, that's going to be my first order of business. When we turn the cameras off, it's like, all right, what can this get? Huh. Okay. Well, thank you again for joining me.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. We will, again, forgive any horribleness to the production value on this. I still don't really know what this video is going to look like, but we'll be up and running by the next pack. As good as ever, if not better. I think the opportunity to redo a lot of the work will hopefully allow me to do it better. And we're back with this and lots of other games this year. So look forward to that. Thank you for watching. And until next time, be optimal.